right, let's let it fly, Allison. Okay, I'm going to call this meeting to order at 5:33 p.m. We're going to start with the salute to the flag. Please rise.
Sharing my screen. Can you see that?
Yep.
I pledge allegiance
Pledge allegiance to the
to the
flag
flag
of
of
the
the United
United
States of America
States of
and to the
America,
republic
and to the
which
republic
stands
which
one
stands
nation under God,
under God,
indivisible,
indivisible,
liberty
indivisible,
and justice for all.
liberty just for all.
Please join me in a moment of silent reflection. Thank you. All right, sunshine law notice. This is the August 20th, 2024 special meeting of the mayor and council of the Borough of Fairhaven. This meeting is via Zoom only, broadcast from Borough Hall, 748 River Road, Fairhaven, New Jersey, and was called pursuant to the provisions of the Open Public Meetings Act. Notice of this meeting was provided to the public, the Asbury Park Press, the Two River Times, and the Rumson Fairhaven Patch on August 13th, 2024. It has been posted on the bulletin board in the municipal building and through the borough's social media platforms and has remained continuously posted as required under the statute. In addition, copies of the above notices are and have been available to the public and are on file in the office of the municipal clerk. With adequate notice having been given, the borough clerk is directed to include this statement in the minutes of the meeting. Allison, may I please have a roll call?
Council members Cole,
Yes, here.
Maselli, Hoey,
Yes. Yes.
Koch,
Here.
Barbera,
Here.
Olson.
Here.
We have Administrator York, Attorney Sobel, Attorney Malamet, Engineer Gardella.
Okay, thank you. So we're here obviously to discuss the award of the contract for solid waste and recycling collection to Suburban Disposal. We've discussed this on many different occasions in detail. Just for the members of the council, I did ask Allison to prepare a second resolution, slightly different than the direction we gave her at the last meeting. The only difference being that it was a 5-year contract instead of 3 years. And I'm the total minority in this, and I'm bringing that up so everyone understands that from the last discussion. The only reason I asked her to do it is obviously we need to award tonight, and we did get a little bit more information, I believe, since the last time we met, which you all asked for. Rumson's contract expires in April of 2025. As an FYI, their contract went up 40% the last time they renewed it. Little Silver is in the second year of, they did take a 3-year contract. They have 2 1-year renewals after the 3-year contract. So it kind of mimics our old contract, the way it was set up, a 3-year with 2 1-year renewals after that. Their contract went up over 100% the last time they renewed it. And for them as well, Roselle Suburban was the only bidder. So the only reason I'm bringing that up is we also found out that Rumson and Little Silver both do not use the mechanical arms. I keep forgetting the name, the specific.
Unarmed bandit.
Yeah, the one-armed bandit. So if we were going to, they would obviously need to synergize with our date, whether it's 3 years or 5 years at this point. And if we are going to do that, neither one of those two municipalities uses the one-armed bandit. So either we would have to go away from it, or they would have to come to it in order for us to synchronize one contract together. I also, from my end, even if we do see appropriations cap reform, the way that I was approaching it was, just from a spend component, if we have to renew in 3 years, we're going to take a much larger increase 3 years from now than if we just what is Nancy here or no? With the what's the raise, Drew, or Brian? Do you know after the first 3 years?
It's
two, then 4.
And 4. So
and then back to 2 again.
I don't have a crystal ball. You never know, inflation, deflation. You never know what's going to happen 3 years from now. I imagine, though, based on what we've seen, the cost increase 3 years from now will be substantially more than the 4%. And then again, listen, if we don't do it then 5 years from now, I understand it'll be even much more than if we renewed it in 3 years. So I wanted to explain to you why I prepared a second resolution there. Just we have to award tonight, and I didn't know if that would sway anyone's opinion. So
Did you guys hear me that on that 5th year? So the 5-year contract, if I remember correctly, it's 2%, 2%, 2%, 4%, and then 2% again.
So I guess, if there is no reform, at least we know we wouldn't have to have the same situation 3 years from now and potentially reduce another service, for instance, when we wouldn't want to. On the other hand, if there is appropriations reform, we get to that point sooner where you could be a little bit more flexible and maybe even bring something back potentially. So I'm just, obviously want everyone to know all the options. I think we got to where we need to be. Now it's just a matter of, do you want to stick with the 3 years that was discussed at the last meeting? Or is there anyone that does want to consider the longer contract? So I'll open it up after that to questions, discussion, whatever you guys want to talk about.
Nancy's joining us by telephone, just so you know.
Okay.
She was labeled as Zoom user. I just renamed her, so if you need her, she's on.
I'll jump in. I got a couple of thoughts. Honestly, I'm fine with either one. But with this new information, it feels like an awful lot would have to align for us to sync up with Little Silver, the things that the mayor discussed. But also, I think all of us will have an election, and it could, literally we could all be replaced. So who knows what any new governing body in whatever form that takes. It could be us and we could change our mind. So it feels like an awful lot would have to align. So if that's the primary driver of the 3-year, that's probably not worth so much. If the primary driver of the 3-year is the ability to restore service, that makes a little bit more sense to me. Although I'd ask Nancy, could we, let's say we're on a 5-year contract and 2 years in, we want to add a service. Could we do a separate contract for just that service, or does it not work that way?
Nance, try *9 if you're having an issue. Or even Attorney Sobel could probably answer.
I'm sorry, can you repeat the question? I don't know if I could try to answer.
So right now we have a garbage contract at soup to nuts, and let's say a couple years in, we want to restore recycling to every week from every 2 weeks. And could we keep the same 5-year contract that we're under, let it go finish through, but then add a new contract that picks up recycling every other week on the weeks that the main contract doesn't pick up? So from a resident standpoint, the service has been restored. It just would be under two. So I'm saying, are we locked into not having our old full service if we did this contract?
Well, once the contract plays out, as long as the vendor's willing to renew the contract with the additional recycling added in, then that would be fine.
I don't think that I could be wrong. I think what he's saying is if we selected a 5-year contract, but 2 or 3 years from now, there's reform to the appropriations cap, and the governing body at the time decides that they want to add back weekly recycling instead of the bi-weekly that's in the contract, can we set up a secondary contract with either the same vendor or a secondary vendor for every other week of recycling so that it ends up being weekly recycling? Is that correct, Brian?
Yes, that's exactly right.
So you could always add an addendum to the current contract at the time if it's during that first 5-year period, as long as the vendor is willing to amend the agreement to add that additional service. If they're not, then we would be locked into whatever the contract terms are at the time of signing.
So we would,
Correct.
what I'm saying is we would we would still honor that contract with Suburban. But let's say a new company shows up, could we create a separate contract, a junior contract, if you will, to just do recycling every other week on top of the existing contract?
Let me
Or
just
would it
review
have-
the contract, as long as there's no provision in there that says that you can't go get the same services from another vendor
Right,
during
okay.
the time of the contract. I'll review that while you guys are discussing, and
Sorry, I'm just jumping on here. The answer to that is no, because remember, Suburban was the only successful bidder here, and they are the ones. It's almost like a right of first refusal. So you wouldn't be able. You would have to. First of all, you'd have to go out to rebid it.
Sorry, but we can.
Because I'm sure it would.
I want to come back here. We don't
I'm
do
sure
that
it-
right now. For
I
myself.
want to go back to the other shops there.
Kristen,
Okay,
Chris,
do
so
you're
you
you
not-
want to-
Mute, Kristen.
Can
Kristen,
please go on
Yes.
mute?
Sorry.
So the answer is no, you wouldn't just be able to do a new contract with another person, because they were the successful bidder, Suburban Disposal, right? And that was an option that we had with them. So it would essentially be a first refusal. However, that would be if they want to amend the contract, not if we want to. It would have to be a unilateral on their part. If in fact they would, if they weren't opposed to us going out to rebid that other additional service, then we would have to rebid it, because I'm sure it would exceed the threshold.
I'm not sure if you can hear me, but I concur with Andrew.
We heard you, Nancy.
So it's not as simple as just, saying like, oh, we'll change the contract 2 years through, or maybe we'll look for another contractor here, because, obviously we had to go through the whole process of, bidding the contract. And so, we're choosing, or, the mayor and councilor is choosing to go a certain way with a certain service. You wouldn't be able to look to another vendor to satisfy, say you guys were to vote to only have recycling once every other week, you wouldn't be able to go to another vendor to do that other contract. And frankly, it wouldn't be, it would be cost prohibitive to even go that route.
So it sounds like we could do it if Suburban agreed. Otherwise, we'd have to stick with Suburban, or not do it, I should say.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Right.
All right. So it's a little sticky.
I'll provide some comments, Mayor. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Yes.
The 3-year, on one hand, it ensures a priority for the borough staff is taken to do the research and not put ourselves in a position of this reactive nature that we're currently in. The 5-year guarantees to lock in the price, but it sounds like it makes the addition of the service that we would be removing if that's the way we vote more difficult. I don't think there's a right answer here. I don't think we can play a what if game with the state and what happens. All of that's out of our control. I am supportive of the 3-year, given that I want the borough staff to do the research and potentially get us back out to bid, and hope that additional time allows us to work with the towns and allows us to work with the state.
I can't find my, oh, here. Mayor, I'll offer my thoughts. This is Tracy. Oh, wait. Can you hear me?
Yes.
So, I had my head wrapped around 3 years until I came home real quick and read the resolution, and I can see the thinking around providing the 5-year resolution to have this discussion. And I appreciate the idea that we could kind of put this to bed and, maybe not have to think about it right away and know what we're dealing with. That would be the 5-year option. However, my thinking is more aligned with Councilman LaBarbera's, which is, I never really did like this deal. I certainly understand the idea that it's going to get more expensive. Very much want to join forces with anybody who, any municipality or mayor, if there's a role for me to play in helping to really reform or even repeal the appropriations cap. It's overdue, but in the meantime, I think there are probably some other things to explore, the analysis and the one-armed bandit or in-house options or interlocals, or, it puts it back on the front burner right away. I can understand why we wouldn't want to do that. We're stressed and there's been a lot going on. We've accomplished a lot, but this is one of those things I don't want to see us get locked into. I was personally prepared for the 3-year, knowing we would get to work right away with not just, analysis and looking at other towns and interlocals, but also looking at creative things, like maybe even exploring no public trash and thinking about leave no trace. This is probably not the time to add creative ideas, but there's lots of ways for us to reduce waste and reduce costs. And the sooner we start to take steps that are a little bit more maybe innovative, the sooner our residents will have a better waste and recycle plan. I'll just say I was prepared and I understand the 3-year plan, and I'm feeling comfortable with that. I'm less comfortable with 5 years. That's where I am at the moment.
Anyone else? If there's no one else, I would just.
Sorry, I just wanted
Go
to
ahead.
quickly add that I am in agreement with Councilman LaBarbera as well. I am of the mindset that right now we're looking at this in a sort of vertical because we have to with the information that we're given, but I am hopeful based on the way that work in general has changed over the past couple of years that there will be more options for us, whether that's bringing it in-house or looking at different options that we're not necessarily seeing right now. So I'm of the mindset of I like the 3-year option because I do feel like there'll be an opportunity for us to rethink the way we do this type of work.
Okay.
And Mayor, I just like to say that I do agree with the 3-year plan. I think that as more communities have their contracts up for renewal and they begin to see that 50, 60, close to 100% increase, I think they're going to bring more pressure on the state to start to bring some of these expenses outside the cap.
Okay. So right there, I mean, it sounds like there's support from at least 4 of you on the 3-year deal. I think it's very healthy that we had this conversation. Obviously, I think we'll look back. My personal view is we'll look back and wish we took the 5-year, but I actually hope that I'm wrong. I hope that you guys are all right, and that's the beauty of having different views on this. So with that, I would ask someone, unless someone has anything else, to make and I support obviously the group's decision here wholeheartedly, and I appreciate everyone's work on this. I know there was a lot of meetings and discussion and brainstorming to get us to where we are now. So I would ask if someone would have a motion on option 1, which is resolution 2024-206, If anyone had a motion to approve.
I'll make a motion to pass, to present and pass option one.
And Mayor, just to confirm, that's quarterly bulk pickup. That's weekly garbage pickup with twice in the summer. And that goes down to bi-weekly recycling, correct? Just to confirm.
That is correct.
I'll second Councilwoman Koch's motion.
Allison, may I please have a roll call?
Council members Cole. Did we lose her?
Yes, I was on mute.
Howie,
Yeah.
Koch,
Yes.
La Barbera,
Yes.
Olson,
Yes.
passes with 3 years.
Okay, thank you. Moving along, did you get everyone, Allison?
Yep, I got everybody.
Okay, moving along to public comment. Please state your name and address for the record. Please limit your comments to 3 minutes. Allison, do we have anyone for public comment?
No one with their hand up.
I have one brief public comment on my own. It's more really to discuss at the next meeting, but I just want to put it in your heads. You know, if we do get around, if we do get around to that e-bike ordinance introduction at the next meeting, and there's support all around from everyone, I'd kind of like to move for a special meeting to actually pass the ordinance. Even if it's in the Zoom capacity like this, I'm worried about the timing here. Every day I go outside, these bikes are out of control. It's out of control, and you know, I just want you all to know that that was my feeling, that that is a timing issue, and I'd like the police to have tools at their disposal as quickly as possible. So
There's rules and regs for ordinances, so it's gotta be advertised, there has to be so many days. Which
well, that's what I'm saying. With the special meeting, as soon as we could have it in that scenario, I would be in support of.
may fall
I'm in
toward-
support of that too, Mayor.
Okay.
I would agree with that. The sooner we get that ordinance in place, the safer our kids are going to be. Because I agree with you. Maybe I'm just more aware of it now, but these kids are all over the place, and they're young children too that are driving these e-bikes and e-carts and e-scooters, and they
I
are not
agree.
paying.
Yeah, in the meantime, I mean, in the meantime, is there anything preventing the police from just using good common sense and bringing
Well,
awareness?
let's be careful here. And I know I started this conversation because it's not on the agenda. Let's be careful about getting into like a deep conversation here as a group. I just want to plant that idea in your head, is if we have the discussion at the next meeting and we're all in agreement at that moment, I'd like to move for a special meeting. And if anyone wants to take this offline and ask the chief what Tracy just asked, like what's preventing him, I encourage you to do that. But I want to, let's be true to the agenda, and I appreciate you all for jumping on, if that's okay to everyone.
Sure thing.
Yeah.
Yep.
And Mayor, I just have one other good of the borough, just given what we passed. If I can ask Administrator York, just double down on communication, getting the information out there. We have a tremendous amount of information on the trash and recycling bid when it comes to the open houses, the PowerPoint materials, et cetera. So the more education, the more, I guess, communication blitz that we can do, the better. So I just want to also just double click on that.
And that just brings up one thing administrative wise that we have to finalize, the days of the trash pickup. And also one other thing that's brought to my attention prior to the meeting, we have residents who have paid for appliance pickups for September. So I would make a recommendation that our first bulk pickup be for September to satisfy that quarterly bulk pickup. And then we'll also have to pick days. I would probably recommend that Tuesday be our trash pickup day and our Friday be our second trash pickup day in the summer. That seems to give a fair balance for the second trash pickup, but it's obviously up to the governing body to make those decisions, and I can have Betty Ann put a blast out on that tomorrow morning.
And Administrator York, recycling would be Wednesday still, and then the brush pickup remains on Tuesdays. So when it's not twice a week garbage pickup, there's 3 days that cans are not on the streets. And then when
Correct.
there's twice a week summer pickup, there's cans not on the street twice a week.
Yeah, and just to add to, we refrain from doing anything on a Monday because of the holidays. That way nobody loses the trash pickup.
And I think that was in the bid itself. It said Tuesday pickup all in one day. And our bulk, the fourth quarter was supposed to be November, but since Betty Ann's already taken and scheduled people for September, because she wasn't sure. Hopefully Suburban will.
So when it's the summer, would it be Tuesday, Friday?
Correct, yes. That's
Okay.
that's what I
And
would
then
recommend. I think that's the fair balance.
My question on the bulk pickup isn't as much on the September as it is there a month like do we get a lot more bulk pickup put out right after Christmas because people get new gifts and they get rid of what they had old? Like, how does that sync up if it's quarterly? What are the best months for
I
us
think-
to hit?
Rich, I think we specified it in the bid. I'm trying to.
We specified in the bid, and historically, we would not have bulk out on the street, usually in January or February because of potential snowstorms and snow removal operations. So it would skip over.
So,
And
so
I
is
have
that September, December though? September,
Let me-
December.
Don't normally do
March?
November, currently we weren't doing November, December. We stopped because DPW way back when was collecting it. And we just,
So my point is, if we're doing it in September and it's quarterly, when's the next month we're doing it though? Then?
It'd be January.
Well, I think it would be December. It would be December. September. If it's quarterly, it's once every 3 months. So it's September carries October, November.
Well, Josh, in
No,
the bid,
September's third quarter.
yeah, but in the bid, the actual month was identified. So the 4 months were already identified.
So you're saying that that's when we have to do it based on our agreement with the contractor,
Correct.
right? So do we know what those months are?
hang on one sec, I'm
I
trying.
think Allison sent out the. All right.
I found it. In the bid, it shows March, June, September, November.
So perfect. So September works.
And it says second Monday of the month in March, June, September, November.
I like the March. I think for spring cleaning, that's perfect.
Okay, so just to be clear, garbage pickup for the entire borough is going to be on Tuesdays.
Correct.
Then in the summer, we're going to pick up Tuesday, Friday.
Correct.
Recycling for the entire borough is every other week on Wednesday.
Correct.
Yes.
Is that going to hit the first week of September? The first Wednesday? Or the second Wednesday? I mean, I guess we would want it to hit the first Wednesday, right?
It would make sense, but does it specify in the contract, Rich, if it's first or second Wednesday, or do we determine that?
I think we determined it. It was just every other week.
Can I make a suggestion that maybe, especially with the recycling center shut down, that maybe we look at the calendar and figure out which week will align us so that we get it the day after Christmas or 2 days after Christmas, so we have a recycling pickup that week?
Yeah, we can determine that tomorrow and then
sense?
let Kelly know. That's fine.
Because I think that's more important than whether it's the first week of September or the second week. I think it's more important to have it the week right after Christmas.
Yep, that's fine. We'll
Right.
count out the weeks tomorrow. We'll determine that and let Roselli know.
Okay, and then you mentioned you said it was the Monday was bulk pickup, second Monday of those months?
Yes.
Okay,
So Christmas falls on a Wednesday. The following week is New Year's on a Wednesday.
If we start September 4th, which would be right after Labor Day, the first Wednesday, the way it syncs up, it would not fall, it would fall in January 1st, which would then be picked up on the 2nd.
so
You would have, yeah.
they would pick up on Thursday, you're saying?
Normally, yes, because I think the landfill's only closed 2 days a year, and January 1st being one of them.
Christmas, the day after Christmas is more important than the day after New Year's when it comes to like boxes and
Yes.
stuff like that, I would think. So, and I think the boxes is really what's, as we said, taking up all the space.
We could also speak to our contractor. We have our weekly meeting on Thursday from a scheduling standpoint where the site work will be by the end of December. I would think we should be substantially complete and ready to
Okay.
open.
All right.
Mayor, I'd like to bring up one thing, maybe more related to communication. So
Sure.
the way I understand it is we're going to have recycling every other week, which is 26 weeks a year, 26 pickups a year. And brush and leaf is twice a month, which is 24. So there's a lot of room there for confusion, metric versus standard kind of thing. So either has to be really communicated clearly, those differences, or I don't know if it's something brush and leaf, if it's possible to sync up where that's every other week instead of twice a week. I know there's been a lot of communication on the first and third and second and fourth, so it sort of would unwind that, but it's something to be mindful of. I don't have an answer, but there is sort of a mismatch there of timing that could confuse
Refresh
residents.
my memory. Brush and leaf picks up. What day of the week does brush and leaf pick up?
Tuesdays.
Tuesday. So it'll be the same, and that was part of the benefit is it was on the same day as the garbage pickup, less days that there were trucks moving around the borough, correct?
Yeah.
Correct.
Okay.
The only difference is half the borough is the one Tuesday, then it goes to the other half. So we're picking up 4 Tuesdays a month for the brush can
Right, but it's on the same day as
as trash.
garbage
Yes.
pickup, so it's right. Okay. Good. And then there's no day that we pick up anything on Thursday. And the only thing we pick up on Friday is in the summer months, there's a garbage pickup. So for most of the year, there's 4 days. Most of the year, there's 5 days that we're not doing any pickups really. So. All right.
Cool.
I just wanted to confirm, so all of this is going to start mid-September,
I think it's the first, isn't it the first week of September?
first week of September,
Day after
Yeah.
first
Labor
week, the week of
Yes.
the 9th or whatever. Okay.
And I would encourage our communications team
Yes.
maybe to set up a meeting as
Yeah.
soon as possible.
Absolutely.
Just to help help Chris and
Yeah.
Betty Ann get the word out as quickly as possible. for our
Right.
rest-
He started to get some stuff together.
Okay,
Yeah.
great.
Okay. Well, I'll reach out, Allison.
Well, I really thank everyone again. I mean, obviously, this isn't what any of us wanted, but considering the state appropriations cap, I think we've exhausted all options, and this is the best plan for the borough of Fairhaven, considering. So, appreciate your time, and look forward to the rest of the week. Anybody needs me, you know where to get me. Do I have a motion to adjourn at 6:08 p.m.?
Motion.
To adjourn.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? All right. Have a great night, Fairhaven.
Bye.